Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. Hello, Kyle.
Well, hello, Rob.
Topic for today, public speaking faux pas.
Oh, okay. I actually took a couple of college courses on this, but let's see how much I remember.
Wait, on public speaking or public speaking faux pas?
I actually have a degree, a bachelor's degree in speech communications.
What?
How much of it do I use? How much of it do I remember? Well, not as much as I probably should.
Well, okay, I'm gonna go sideways on this. I pulled from my political fascinations for this. So this is interesting. Okay, faux pas, right? Like, now, when you say faux pas, embarrassing or tactless act or remark in a social situation, don't really mean it like that. I just mean a screw up when you're talking. Something comes out of your mouth that really shouldn't, and then everything goes crazy. If you looked at politics, and specifically American politics, we could obviously talk about the last few years. A lot of things have been come out of people's mouths that, we can talk about that for some other time. But before all that, if you wanted to pick a year of recent memory and say, wow, what was a year that, like, just someone says something and then it all goes downhill? 2004. So in 2004, we were in a presidential election year. In January of that year, people might remember, even those who are not from the United States, the infamous Dean Scream. Howard Dean was the former governor of Vermont. He's running in the primaries against John Kerry. He comes in like third. I think it was the Iowa caucus. And he gives this infamous speech afterwards that night where he's just like, we're going to go here and then we're going to go here and then yeah. And it's crazy. He kind of loses his mind. A little bit like Steve Ballmer did, like we've talked about a few minutes ago. So, and he just tanks after that, right? Here's amusingly what happens. Fast forward about 6-7 months, go to the Democratic National Convention of 2004. John Kerry is the presumptive nominee. He goes up on stage to accept the nomination. And in a nod, which was trying to basically put a little shade on the current president at the time, where there was questions about his military service and whether or not he kind of was able to avoid certain things like going to Vietnam and stuff, he goes up to the podium and says, I'm John Kerry and I'm reporting for duty.
And he gives a little salute.
Here's the crazy thing about that story is when it happened, as it was happening, and you can go back and like read, there's a great NPR story about this, that initially everybody was like, oh, that's kind of smart. You're doing a lot of things. You're reminding people that you're, a Vietnam War veteran. You're kind of putting shade on Bush, all this other stuff, right? And then very quickly, like within 24 hours, everybody went, wow, that was dumb. Like it made you look, that didn't sound right, didn't work. And actually a lot of people go back and look and say it was his campaign just fizzled, like from that moment. Why do I bring this up? There is a moment in this minute that I did not ever realize I think is based on that moment from the 2004 Democratic National Convention.
Oh, interesting.
And I've never have I picked up on this until I, of course, looked over it second by second and listened. Anyway, there we go.
All right, so we're talking about big speeches here at minute 96 of Iron Man 2 from 2010. Directors are Jon Favreau. All right, so we pick up where we left off, which is in the middle of a sentence. Justin Hammer was just about to give a big intro, cutting his promo, and then it stopped right before we got to the most important part of the name. So what he said was, in minute 95, ladies and gentlemen, today I am proud to present you the very first prototype in the variable threat response battlesuit and its pilot, ... And now we pick up here at minute 96 with Air Force Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes. And it was like, whoa, the floor opens up, and even Pepper and Natalie. I keep wondering which name I'm supposed to use. Natalie. We'll say Natalie because I think in the next 4 minutes or so, we'll probably stop using the name Natalie.
Right. That'll be
are very confused. What? And so then the floor opens up and up comes rising the War Machine armor. Now, we talked about a little bit before when we had James Rhodey in the original prototype, the Mark II armor, but now this is it for real. So this is the for real War Machine Mark I armor. So all the way from Iron Man number 281 from June of 1992, where he first made his debut. So we have it. It's all decked out. So we see what the engineers from the Air Force, I'm assuming, and Hammer have done to the armor. So we get to see that, first of all, no longer shiny.
Yeah,
so they have burnished everything way down, and there's except for like the shape of the face, there's very little that still resembles the original sort of Iron Man armor. Maybe the hands, I guess, but even that, like everything has been decoed and changed around.
Almost really just the abdomen, and some of like the.
I mean, like even the plates along the arms and stuff like that. The big shoulders. You got the things around the
gauntlets. The big gauntlets are big.
Exactly, the big gauntlets. The boot jets. I mean, everything like has been, and then you can see it's got designation 001 on the side because obviously it is the first of its line, and the eyes that are glowing a little bit red, I guess. I don't want to say because usually red is associated with evil in Marvel. Like
no, it's they're amber. Intense. Yeah, there's like an amber glow right around the edges, which is kind of nice. I mean, it gives a cool effect and it differentiates it from Iron Man. Yeah,
exactly. So you can see if it was in the dark and a suited figure came at you, you would know which one it was, not just by the giant shoulders. And so we've learned, what does Ivan say that things would be able to do? Make salute. And so when we have Rhodey salutes, then all the rest of the bots salute as well, including Justin Hammer, who does it very, very poorly.
Awkward. It's completely awkward. But I love how this connects to that, right? Like, remember he said, oh yeah, I can make salute. And sure enough, right? Like, that's what they do. And it's done, like, from a theatric standpoint. If you were in the audience, again, we talked about, like, the audience in this. Oh yeah, you're eating this up. Like, this looks amazing.
I mean, the audience are like sitting there like, oh, all right, like this is a good show. Like, there's some, polite golf applause. I mean, it's, oh, all right. But in how much time we get talking about salutes, I wanted to do a little bit of research on salutes. So I wanted to find out sort of what the history of salutes are. So, the sort of the U.S. military salute has a very specific way of doing it, but it actually, the British were the first ones to do this because they had the military. They do it differently, and so whenever you see a British soldier salute, they have their palm out. And so, like, they do the same salute to say, like, and I have the thing of, like, what actually a proper salute, is. But their palm is facing out when they do it. Well, apparently, back in the day of sailing ships, then the sailors would actually get tar and pitch all over the things. And when you would salute, then you would have a dirty hand. And apparently the people of the U.S. military were like, ooh, I don't want to see a dirty hand. Like, so they actually made them turn their hands 90 degrees so that if their hands were dirty, they wouldn't have to see it.
Oh, wow. And that's why an American is...
An American salute is that straight hand, as opposed to, like, because if you see, even now, when British soldiers salute, they turn their palm out, like, basically say, I have nothing in my hand. Like, that's sort of like where it comes from, of, like, raising your visor of your armor. Right. That's where the salute usually came from. And then I have nothing in my hand. So the proper salute, apparently, according to Wikipedia, is raise the right hand sharply, fingers and thumbs extended and joined, palm facing down, and place the tip of the right forefinger on the rim of the visor, because you're always wearing a hat when you salute.
Right.
Or something on your head, helmet, whatever. Slightly to the right of the eye. Apparently, when you're not wearing a hat, a cover, I guess is the term, you don't have to salute as much. I guess there's very specific rules and different things of where they go. So obviously we are not military people,
right?
So I'm sure that someone who had been in the military would have much more of an insight on this. So this is all just from the people at Wikipedia. Okay, so the outer edge of the hand is barely canted downward, so that neither the back of the hand nor the palm is clearly visible from the front. The hand and the wrist are straight, and elbow inclined slightly forward, and the upper arm is horizontal. So Justin Hammer, all wrong.
Oh my God, it's completely wrong.
He touches like the mid part of his finger to his forehead, and like
his thumb is all the way in under his palm.
Right.
It's doofusy. It's like what a kid would do, like playing in the backyard when he was like 4 years old. That's
right.
Completely not. No, it's not right.
Yeah, but he's working the crowd though. So, and he continues on. He says, "For America and its allies, Hammer Industries is reporting for."
And
he sort of like trails off.
And there's a reason why he trails off, but I'm going to tell you something. I've never noticed he said that.
Ah.
And I got to tell you, I think there's a little connection to if you're going to do something dorky and you were going to say it, and knowing what happened in 2004.
Yeah,
I think that's where they pulled that from.
Well, surprised. You know, it's interesting as you were talking about it, and not knowing what you were going to use your opening for, and you started talking about that thing. I knew exactly what the first one was going to be, and then when you started talking about the second one, I'm like, I know exactly what you're talking about too.
Yes.
Like, even now. You know, here we are in the beginning of a new decade, and I still know exactly what those things are. These things that linger, you know, in the political arena, what lingers in the public consciousness. So, why did Justin trail off? Because here comes the Iron Man. That's why he sees it's looking obviously. From his perspective, he doesn't know what it is. So it's like, hey, did someone shoot a missile at us? Because you just see something coming in, rocket propelled at him. But I'm sure Tony Stark has some kind of defenses in place. Because, you know, if something went wrong, it'd be really bad for him. So I'm sure he has defenses of some sort built into this World's Fair, right? I mean, it's not going to be totally defenseless, Rob.
Well, okay.
I mean, that would just be silly.
Now, wait. Oh, wait, are you setting me up for something? Okay.
I'm setting up for the next 5 minutes.
Okay, no, because, and I will admit, hey, guess what, everybody? Spoiler. There is some real suspension of belief on a few things we're about to talk about over the next few minutes. One of them is this and that. Okay, what I hope is that because it's Stark Expo.
Yeah.
He has some way to basically stand down the defenses so that he can just swoop in, because you would think this couldn't be allowed. Like a flying object couldn't just go in during one of the main stage presentations.
There's so much military stuff going on. There are military personnel in the crowd. I mean, there are probably, if not Joint Chiefs.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there are probably really high-ranking military guys here. I mean, I think. Don't they have a pavilion? Isn't there a
No, I'm not sure. I don't. Well, all the contractors, but that just means,
all the contractors,
all the contractors. So you know that they're all there. I mean, he's got a way. You can explain this away, plausibly. So.
So Tony comes flying in low, and nobody knows really what's going on. Justin Hammer's is something about to go down here? Even Rhodey is a little bit on edge. Pepper and Natalie don't know exactly why. Oh yeah, there.
Pepper looks at him and looks like, is this, you can see in her face is, did you plan this? Why is Tony here? What is going on here? So
there's a little bubble of excitement from the crowd, but it's not it's oh my god, it's Iron. It's not like a wrestling run-in. It's sort of it's Iron Man's here. Oh, that's interesting.
Well,
because
they're still not understanding what's going on.
Right. So Iron Man flies in and hits the hero pose. Boom! Hard on the knees. So he drops in and then stands up, and now we get to see the Mark 6 armor. So here we go. In the 1 minute here in minute 96, we get to see two brand new armors we've never seen before. We got the War Machine Mark 1 and we've got the Mark 6. So you see the difference is the triangle. The rest of it is kind of just minor cosmetic stuff along the way. I think there'll be a little technical things as we go along, but for the most part, everything is the shell actually looks pretty similar. There's not a lot. If you see a lot of Iron Man's armors from the comic books, they're vastly different. When he had the triangle, this one he actually had shoulder pads. He actually had pads that came out, and it was red and silver. A lot of the designs and stuff you'll see in Iron Man 3 shouldn't make it that far, but this one is essentially you look at it, you know exactly who it is. It's still Iron Man.
Now, is the design? My understanding is that with the triangle, this is taken from the Extremis armor from the comics.
Yes, but he did triangle before Extremis though. There was a period of time that he had a red and silver armor. Gotcha. That had a triangle as the main power source too. But interesting, as we're looking at the different designs, I didn't notice, and this will be more clearly in the next couple of minutes, is that the drones also have the circular power in their chest too. All the drones have the white circle as their power thing too, which I thought interesting. That Hammer just can't do anything original.
No, of course.
Even his drones look slightly like Iron Man.
Well,
because I know they wear suits, but there's no aesthetic. I mean, there's no reason to have that there if that's not where the power source is, and he doesn't have an arc reactor, so why would you have the power source there?
Marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Marketing.
It's just there
because somebody else did it.
Well, it's there to like, because here's why you do that. So then people see those suits and they go, oh, look, Iron Man. Oh, it looks just like Iron Man. It's just as good as Iron Man because it looks like Iron Man. That makes sense. Sure.
Yeah. So as he walks up, he starts talking, and before we get into what he and Rhodey are exchanged, I'm trying to figure out, is he broadcasting at that point, or is he transmitting a signal to Rhodey? Because they're having a little conversation, but Hammer's right there, and Hammer doesn't seem to hear them. So is this a theatrical device? Is this sotto voce? Is this the side? Or is he actually like transmitting directly into Rhodey's helmet? Okay. What do you think? Because later on, he turns around and talks to Hammer.
Right.
And they and so like obviously he's there. He's actually talking now. That happens in mid '97. But like this first conversation, what do you think?
Okay, no, and I'm glad because spoiler, we're going to talk about this a little more in depth on the next minute because something then happens that is involving Hammer on this. I think there has to be some because remember. This War Machine armor is the Mark II Tony suit.
Yeah, down at the base, it's still the same technology.
One of the things
different operating system.
Right, different operating system, but okay. Clearly, he is communicating, and again, not spoiler because we're going to talk about this in the next minute.
Yeah.
They are talking suit to suit because they do it later on when they're right in the sky. So this is a conversation just suit to suit.
Yeah.
And I think you can see that because you can hear audibly sort of the technical like feel that there's an audible like technical transmission like version of it. It's not voice to voice. And again, this will come out when he has the conversation with Justin Hammer in the next minute. Yeah. So here's my question. How is that happening when this suit has been okay? Here's the deal. What's my plausible explanation? It's Tony Stark at the base. It's Tony Stark hardware. He has a way that it just talks directly to it.
You know, Rob, I just realized the War Machine armor is a Hackintosh.
It is. That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
He has a way.
It's got Sony guts. Well, Sony guts. It's got Sony guts.
Okay. Or let's. Okay, the movie has actually already played the way this can happen. Mm-hmm. When he was in the Senate hearing earlier on in the movie, he was able to abscond the screens in the room.
True.
The Iron Man, the new Mark 6. This is Mark 6, right? Yeah, Mark 6 armor has the ability to look at something that has a microphone and speaker system in it and be able to immediately patch through to it.
Okay.
That's actually that. You know what? I was going to say
that's not bad.
That's actually more plausible because we've seen that earlier in the movie. Yeah, that is plausible to understand about how that connection can happen.
And it's so he's using AirPlay.
AirPlay 2. He's using AirPlay 2.
AirPlay 2. There you go. AirPlay 6. Because it's the Mark 6 armor. I say we're getting very Apple nerdy today.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, because again, one of those weird things that you just go, wait, like when you stop and think about it, how is this happening? But he's definitely talking suit to suit. Yeah, because Justin can't hear this. And then there's a difference of what happens in the next minute. One thing I just want to say is, though, as then they have this conversation, we'll obviously talk about the conversation.
Yep.
Wonderful sweeping shot of around. You get a close-up view of the War Machine armor, which is really cool. And one of the things that you get to see very open is we get a look at the markings that are on the War Machine armor, and one of them that we haven't talked about before because we haven't really seen it as clear as in this is, there is an ED 445 LFLTS, and that's a cool call to the Flight Test Squadron, the 445th Flight Test Squadron stationed at Edwards Air Force Base in California.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that. That is really cool.
Yeah. Nice attention to detail on, and again, as they pulled some of the markings, the aircraft markings onto these suits, that's just kudos everybody. Well done.
And big shout out to Industrial Light and Magic, because as you say, this big sweeping shot, the only thing that was there was Justin Hammer. Like Sam Rockwell was alone on that stage. There's not a prop, there's not a stick with a ball, like all that is completely CG from the geniuses at ILM.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there's no War Machine, there's no Iron Man, there are no drones, there are no risers. I mean, it's just a completely blank stage, and they did their stuff on it. And, like, it's still, 10 years later, super impressive.
This is incredibly well done.
Yeah.
Incredible light reflection and refraction.
Yeah.
The focus, everything. You guys just, crush this because it really does look, even like you said, like 10 years later, it looks fantastic.
All right, so let's talk about what they're talking about, because remember the last time these two saw each other, things were not going very well. So they have not really had a pleasant conversation, that thing. So Rhodey's first thought is, well, it's about to go down again, and there's a lot of civilians here. Is Tony drunk? Like, I mean, he's like, he has no idea what's about to happen. So Tony says, we got trouble. And like, Rhodey's thinking, like trouble right here in River City? Like we got beef? Like, we got issues? Like, no. Rhodey says, Tony, there are civilians present. I'm here on orders. Let's not do this right now. Like, I like also the fact that first thing, there are civilians present. Already a great sign. Like, he's already thinking, heroically, and obviously he's a war hero already. But I'm here on orders is like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be on stage with Justin Hammer. They told me I had to be, and so here I am. So let's not do this right now. Like, okay, like, we can fight if you want to, but like, maybe out of the armor and away from all the people, that'd be great. And so Tony then sidles right up to him and goes, give him a wave, and just like waves to the crowd with puts his arm around his new robotic buddy. Right. That's right, super pals, everyone. Yay. And so even Justin is sort of watching this like, I don't know what's about to happen, and then goes, hey, all right, yay. Like, he's like, I don't know why Tony's on my side, but he is, yay. And so then the conversation continues as they're standing there, clutching hands. Tony's, being and transmitting, obviously, as we've said, all these people are in danger. We got to get them out of here. You got to trust me. And that's where the minute ends, in the middle of that sentence.
I know, yeah. There's bad stuff's about to happen. Okay, one thing I did want to mention.
Yeah.
Some wonderful sound design. When Tony's coming in before he lands in the hero prone position, right?
Yeah.
There is this really cool the rumble of him coming in.
Yeah.
And then they suck all the audio out. There's nothing because his thrusters go off. It's full silent, and then when he hits, and the crowd goes nuts because that is when the crowd finally realizes who it is. It just a really wonderful little way. We talk about this from time to time.
Yeah.
When you can make such an impact when you get rid of all the sound. Yes. And they do it in that moment. It's really well.
And that clang.
Yes.
Like that sort of like that when he hits the ground. Like it's such a great sound. Yeah, I'll say the sound design, and we're going to see a lot of that more as it goes through here. The sound design of this is fantastic. I wish they had done a little bit tweaking of the audio so we could tell when he's transmitting versus when he's talking.
Oh, right. Right.
Like I wish, but at the same time, I don't really want them to add the at the end of each line too, that we know it's like a CB broadcast or whatever. So maybe it was better that they didn't. But I kind of wish that there was just a little, audio distortion put on one side and not the other. So as we're talking about entrances, I would like to know your favorite superhero entrance. And there's a good place that you can hop online and tell us all about it. And that's our Facebook page. But it's not just an ordinary Facebook page. Oh, no. That's not the way we roll here. We have our own little side group that you have to look for to find. It's called the Marvel Movie Minute and Next Reel Podcast Executive Lounge. So you have to ask for entrance because we're trying to keep out the bots and the weirdos. So ask for entrance, hop in, find maybe posting about this episode or one of the other ones, and tell me what your favorite superhero entrances are. Will it be from all the way back in the 80s? Will it be from today? Will it be just Marvel? Who knows? Could it be all the way back to like the black and white Batman serial shorts? Sure, why not? Probably won't be, but it could be. Was it George Reeves jumping off of a trampoline? I want to know. So go to facebook.com/groups/the next reel, ask for membership, hop in there, and if you want to include art, that's fine too. But if not, you can just say it there. And I want to know. I want to know.
Can I just say something?
Please.
I'm just going to give you a hint.
What yours would be?
William Catt.
Oh, believe it or not.
And we're gonna leave it at that. Hey, I rhymed.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Do it some of the time. And that wraps up for minute 96. I'll be back here for minute 97 as we see what the end of Tony's sentence is. And also, maybe he's going to make some new friends with all these bots around. Yeah, you don't know. And you definitely won't know if you skip the episode. So be back here for minute 97. Enough said.
Bye.